Hi there everybody and welcome. It's Jackie here from stampinjack.com. It is Wednesday the 2nd of February, which means it's time for our weekly Facebook Live session. I can't quite believe it's February already. I don't know what happened to January. I don't know. I just can't be dealing with it. Although I suppose January is done, 1 month down, 11 to go. So I'm just going to check my settings, make sure I'm live in all the right places. So when you arrive, just leave me a comment below so I know you're here. And let me just make sure that we're all okay. That looks good. Hi Lynn, welcome. First one in the door tonight. How are you? All right, let's have a look. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, so I know you're here. Let me just, don't need to hear me. Once is enough, you don't need me in stereo. Okay, so got some fun stuff for you tonight. Hi Sue, welcome. Hi Diane, good to have you. Excellent, so I think we're getting there. I'm just sharing this to the VIP group. So Lynn, thank you for sharing. So anybody else who's on here, please do share this video onto your Facebook page. That'd be great. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, then give me a thumbs up and feel free to share it to your social media too. I would love it if we could expand our lovely little group here. I have so much fun with you guys every week. It'd be lovely to, as I say, share the fun. So I've got some fun projects for you tonight. And I've got some news as well. So those of you who are on my mailing list will have got my email that I sent on Sunday, I think it was. So I have decided, thanks to popular demand, a number of you have asked me, I've decided to do an online class. I know I did these probably the year before last, but with everything that was happening last year with house moves and everything else, I didn't get round to do it. Lynn, my YouTube is Stampin' Jack or my name, Jackie Lawless. You can find me on there. I'll post a link to my YouTube after this video as well, so everybody's got it. So yes, I'm going to start doing virtual classes again. So how virtual classes work is that it is a live Zoom class, so you can craft along with me. You can get the project packs in advance so that you can have all your bits there. And I'll take you through each of the projects step by step. But if you can't make the date of the Zoom, then you'll get video tutorials and a PDF with all of the supplies and measurements. So how it works, well, let me start. So the first one I'm going to do, which is on the 24th of February, again, I will post details of this when I'm done, is I'm going to be playing with the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. So that's how I normally do it, is that I'll focus on one particular bundle. That makes it easy to gather your supplies. So if you have the bundle, then you can purchase the online class plus the project pack, which is all the bits and pieces that you'll need to make the projects. That costs £20. If you just want the online version only, then that's £10. If you buy the bundle from me, then just send me an email and you will get the online class for free. And you get to have just add on the project pack on top of that for just £10. So again, I will post all of the details of that up once I'm done here, and I'll put a link into the YouTube video as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm going to try to run a few more of them, maybe one a month. So I'm thinking about what ones to do from March onwards. So if you've got any ideas or suggestions or requests, then please do let me know. Just leave me a comment and I will see what I can work into the mix. So just before we move on, just a reminder that last week we made these fabulous shaker cards. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to have a little play, but if you are inspired by any of the cards that I make, or if you're just making cards and you'd like to share them, we would love to see them on my VIP group. So if you haven't joined the VIP group, do let me know. Hi Doreen, welcome. Speaking of the VIP group, I am going to do a card swap this month. So again, that kind of fell by the wayside because life just got really busy. Well, what can I say? Life is always busy. So I just try and squeeze in as much as I can whenever I can. So I will be posting into the VIP group, those of you who are interested in a card swap for February. And I think we'll do something other than Valentine's because let's be a bit unpredictable. So again, if you've got any suggestions or thoughts on what you'd like the card swap theme to be, then let me know and we can work that in. So for today, what I'm going to do is I've got this set of dies that I've had for quite a while, which is our basic borders dies. And I got these a little while ago. I've used them a little bit, but I've been meaning to for a long time. So I thought, okay, tonight I will just make a number of different cards just with these border dies. Now, you'll know, no doubt, that lots of our die sets have got borders in them of some description. So you don't need to have this specific die set. But what I like about this is that it's got quite a good, 1, 2, 3, it's got 6 different border die or edges on it here, and I think that's quite good. So I'm going to have a play with some of these, but as I say, have a look at your dies that you've got and see, because as I say, there's plenty of our die sets have got various different borders on them, so you can take the ideas that I'm showing you today and adapt them to whatever you've got, or you know, you might be persuaded and invest in one of these, in which so I will be very grateful. So let's start with the rainbows, because my head has just been exploding with ideas for this class. I've got some really good projects lined up for you. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to pair it with this die here, which is basically clouds. So I've gone ahead and cut these out already for you. And what you can see is I've got these fantastic stitching. Can you see that? Is it focused? Can't tell. So yeah, we get a lovely stitched edge as well. Okay, so we're going to have that, and we're going to use the this is the Rainbow Sunshine and Rainbows paper, which is free with Celebration. So if you were to purchase the Rainbow of Happiness bundle and then add, I don't know, some glue or something inexpensive to take you up to £45, you would get this paper for free, and you would get the online class for free. So just something to think about. So what I've done is we're going to use the dies from the Rainbow of Happiness set. So you can see in here, you've got a number of clouds. You've actually got a border in this one as well. So you've got a number of clouds. So I've just cut out some of those. And we're going to take this die here, which cuts out this rainbow here in the paper. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to like so, and then I'm going to take our adhesive sheet. So this is like a sheet of dimensionals, but it's all one sheet. So what I'm going to do is just peel a corner back and then just stick our piece like so. Okay, and then just trim with our scissors. Okay, there we go. So then I'm just going to bring in my mini boss, little boss, whatever you want to call it, and we're just going to line this up like so. I'm going to take a bit of washi tape to hold that in place. I'm just going to cut it out. So just get that lined up. There we go. Okay. So you can see it's cut through. I'm going to put that to one side for a moment. So leave it like that, and then we're going to bring in our dies. So I've got a Whisper White card base, and then I've got a layer of Whisper White. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I've got my pieces, which I'm going to make into clouds down here like this. But I want to create a bit of a sky. So this is another way. So this is it. I'm just going to grab some scrap. So this is a second way that you can use this die. So what I've done is I've just cut it on a piece of, this is just note paper. Okay, and I'm going to grab my Pool Party ink pad, which is here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, and this is another way to get clouds onto your project. Okay. So we're just going to start on the paper and then just add a little. Can you see that? That creates that cloud line. And then we can just do a few of these. We need just a hint of our blue here to create these clouds. I'm just going to, no, I would flip it over, but I run the risk of transferring my ink underneath, so I don't want to do that. So you can see I'm also not just lining my paper up straight, I'm actually putting it at different angles so I don't just end up with a stack of clouds that are all the same. Okay, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely lovely. So again, that's just creating a stencil with our die. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring in this Kite Delight stamp set because I want the little sun in this one. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that in Daffodil Delight. Actually, no, I'm going to do it in Mango Melody because that will be a bit stronger. I think my Mango Melody stamp pad, ink pad needs re-inking, so pop our little sun in the corner, like so. Okay, and then just going to start lining our pieces up. Okay, so I'm going to put that there and that there. So again, I'm just going to line them up in such a way that they don't look like just the two together. Okay, so now what we've got is if I bring back in my die cut. Okay, I'm just going to peel it. I'm just going to take my washi tape. It's getting a bit more stuck than I'd like it to, so let me just get rid of that. Pop this out. It's just stuck to my washi tape. There we go. Okay, so now we have our stickers. So my rainbow is going to go, I'm just going to position it. So my rainbow is going to go here. And then I'm going to put a sentiment here, which is I want a nice big sentiment on there actually. So I'm going to go to my go-to, which is The Biggest Wish. Okay, so I'm going to go hello and friend. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the hello in Pool Party. Hi Mary. Hi Sue. Just catching up on the comments there, they've just come through. Right, so I'm going to do hello. Let's try and get this straight. There we are, and friend. I'm going to do in grey. I don't want black because I don't want it as dark as that. I just want it a little bit softer. Okay, so just inking up with my grey. There we go, hello friend. And now we're ready to assemble. Okay, so we're going to pop some, we need some dimensionals for these. Ooh, new sheet. Just check how far over I need to go. There we go. Okay, so let's start at the bottom. So you can see that I've die cut my pieces wider than my card base, and I like to do that with borders because then it means you can move it around, line it up, and then just trim it off so you can get the edges where you want them to be. Okay, so there's our first piece. Okay, and I've put dimensionals on there that didn't need to be, so I'm just going to do that so they don't stick to everything. And I'll use this piece for something else. Okay, so let's trim that bit off. There we go, and then we're just going to pop this one in behind. So because these are the same, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this one on this side, so we don't have them, as I say, again, we don't want them looking like I've just stacked two on top of one another. There we go. Trim that. Trim that. Lovely. And now we've got our sticker. Okay, so just going to peel the backing off. Okay. And just add our rainbow in. Just want to make sure that the ends of our rainbow are behind the cloud. Okay. Oh, if I take the backing off, it'll work better, won't it? Go. And now we can see we've got a gap there, so now I have my little clouds that I can just add it in behind here. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of glue. Just pop that in behind like so. Okay, and then I'm going to add some sparkle. So we've got these sparkle and shine sequins. So stick that down. I'm just putting little dots of glue around the place. There we go. And then grab my take your pick tool. There we go. Just squeezing out some extra, and then let's just, here we are. So we've got some silver, but we've also got some iridescent, so I want to do the iridescent ones. Whoop! We've also got, I don't know if you can see, but we've got some here that are little domes as well. So they look a little bit like rhinestones, but they're not faceted. They're just clear domes. So these, I'm just placing them randomly depending on what actually comes off on my take your pick tool. There we go, but I am going to choose, got stars, look at that, I've got stars in my fingernails, look. So I'm just going to grab a dome and I'm going to put that over the friend, dot on the eye. I love embellishments, but they do get in the way sometimes, they're a bit tricky. Find that picking them up is quite easy, but getting them to disappear is a bit more tricky. Alright, so now let's put our sprinkles away. There we are. Okay, oh, we've lost a few, so I'm going to put them somewhere safe here so that I can put them back in later. Get rid of this. Alrighty. And then we're just going to pop this up onto our base. So as I said, in case you missed it at the beginning, the Rainbow of Happiness bundle is going to be my online class, my virtual class for February. So if you have the bundle already, then great. If you haven't, then pick it up and we can craft together. Now, one last final touch. I'm just going to take my Wink of Stella and put it on my rainbow. So there we go. That's card number 1. I'm just going to trim this cloud here. There we go. That's card number 1 using the cloud die from the Basic Borders dies. Okay. Right, so let's make some space. You should see the state of my table when I'm finished crafting. I had a really big clear out and tidy up and sort out over the weekend. And before I started tonight, my table was beautiful. I should have taken a picture of it actually. My whole craft room was lovely and clean and tidy, and now it's just chaos again. And I've only made one card, so goodness knows what it will be by the end of by the end of tonight. Because of course, normally I just use one stamp set, but tonight I'm using quite a few different ones. So give me a moment. I'm just trying to keep myself just a little bit organised whilst we do this. Okay, so let's pop that up there. Pop those there. So the next card I'm going to do, is using the Daffodil Daydream stamp set and dies. So I'm going to do a little bit of watercolouring for this one. So what I'm going to do, well, for the border on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece here. And I've got a piece of early espresso. So I've cut this piece to 14.5 centimetres, which is the length of my card base, which is Daffodil Delight. I'm just going to cut down the centre of this. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly the middle, but roughly even should do the trick. Okay, just run that through. Okay, now what I have are two borders. Okay, so I love the edges on these, really, really nice. And again, we've got the stitching on both sides. So I'm just going to pop that aside for a minute and bring in my watercolour. So we need our aqua painter, and I'm going to do some embossed resist for this one. Just grab my white embossing powder. That's one. Okay. So when I'm doing watercolour, I love to do embossed resist. Just makes life so much easier. So on here, we're going to take this big daffodil image. Okay, so usual, I get our embossing buddy. And I'm going to use my cardstock is textured, but one side is slightly less textured than the other. So this is watercolor paper. Very, very important when you're watercoloring that you use watercolor paper. Regular paper just won't stand up to watercoloring. It will just pill and look ugly. Okay, so you want plenty of Versamark on here. I'm just going to stamp that down. Like so. And again, because we've got a bit of texture on the watercolor paper, I want to give it a good press so we get a good image that looks okay. So you won't be able to see very much of this to begin with, because I'm embossing white on white, but it will all become clear shortly. So there you go. I don't know if you can see that. There's the image. Okay. We'll just pop our embossing powder back in its tub. There we go. And just let our heat tool warm up for a moment. Don't know if you can see that. There we go. Just the embossing powder melting. There we go. Alright, so now we need some Pool Party, and I want some Daffodil Delight, seeing as I'm colouring daffodil. It seems the obvious choice, doesn't it? And I want some, I'm going to do Pear Pizzazz actually. I want something a bit subtle. There we go. Okay. So now I've got my aqua painter. So this is the pack we have comes in a pack of 3. So we've got 3 different tips. So we've got the big one, we've got the little one, and then the middle-sized one. So I'm going to start with the large one. And all I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to just get the water going so it's flowing through the tip. Okay, you can see I've got a little bit of white ink in there from the last time I used it, but that's okay. Okay, just grab a bit of kitchen towel. There we go. And I'm just going to do a wash across my piece, like so. Okay, that's just making my cardstock wet in preparation for my watercoloring. So now I'm just going to press the lids of my ink pad together so that I get a little bit of ink in the lid, and I can use that for my watercoloring. Okay. There we go. I'm going to sit down for this bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, and I might use the skinny one depending on how we go. Okay. So what I like about using emboss resist when you're watercoloring is that makes it a lot easier to stay inside the line. So you can see I'm just being very, very loose with this. I'm not doing lots of shading or anything like that. I'm just putting the water down on my, yes, you can see that. So I find this is one of the easiest ways to colour images. Now we just have to be a little bit careful with this one, because one of the leaves goes along the back of it. Okay, so that's our yellow bit done. So now we'll just clean our brush off. So as a general rule, start with your lighter colours first. Okay, and you can see I'm not adding a lot of ink or a lot of water to the ink that I'm picking up, because I don't want the ink I pick up to be particularly loose. Okay, so just got to keep my eye on it a little bit, make sure I catch everything. There we go. And just try not to get my green where my yellow is. Okay, now down here, okay, the stems here are solid lines. So what I'm going to do, because obviously I can't colour in, is I'm just going to put some green along them. So we just get the view of stems. Okay, like so. So that's looking good. I'll clean this off. And I'm going to go back in with some more yellow. This is the nice thing about watercolouring, is you can go back in and add more colour if you want to make it more intense. So I want to make these really quite yellow so they're really obvious, especially this one here. There we go. Okay, let's clean that off. And then what I like to do when I'm doing images is I want to use my Pool Party. Now I'm putting some water into here because I want this Pool Party to be really, really, really light. Okay, I just want to create a very, very light wash around my image. and then blend it out. So this helps to just kind of frame and ground the image, so it's not just floating in midair. Okay. And again, you can see I'm not being terribly precise. I just want it to, as I say, just frame my image. I'm not using masses and masses of water, just a little. But do try and get in reasonably close to your image so that it's properly framed. There we go. You see that? Lovely. Okay, so easy to do this. And as I say, watercolouring is one of my favourite ways to colour because it is just the easiest in my view anyway. Okay, so then let's bring back in our card. So that's going to go here. Okay, and I'm just, yep, that's right. And then what we're going to do with these pieces is we're going to just put them either side like that to create a little border. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to take the little splatter from here, and I'm going to take, what will I take? I think I'm going to take just some Pool Party actually. Just going to add a little bit of extra texture to this. Just going to stamp off. Okay, and then we'll take some early espresso ink, which is here, and I have a little scrap of watercolor paper here, and I'm going to do Easter blessings, I think. Will that fit on there? Nope. So let's see, let's grab a different sentiment. So I'm going to grab the celebrating you. So let's do happy birthday. Let's see if that one will fit. Nope. So we need something, I'll do just for you. I smudged that one, so let's try that one again. That's better. And then I'm just going to trim this down with my scissors, which is here somewhere. There it is. Alright, so now what we're going to do is just put a little bit of liquid glue. I'm just going to put it along the edge. Come on. It's going to, I know what it's going to do. It will all pop out. Or it won't pop, it will just splurge out. So let's help it along. There we go, you can see I had a little blockage in there. Right, that should do it. There we go, big blob. Okay, and then I'm not going to press this down because I want to give myself wiggle room. So then I'm just going to turn it over. Like so. There we go. And then we're going to pop that up. And I'm going to put quite a few dimensionals on this because we've watercolored this so that you can see when we wet the paper, it warps a little bit. So this will just help hold it in place. Okay, we'll bring in our card base. So this is saying border dies. You don't have to use them just on the edge of your card. You can use them to create basically the impression of a mat behind. Okay. Go, and then we're just going to pop that up. I'm going to use my mini dimensionals for that. And there we go. So we could add some sparkles, rhinestones, all sorts of stuff to it, but I think that gives you the idea for now. So that's our second card. What time are we at? Because I've got a few for you. I hope I've got time for them all tonight. Let's put those away. Go. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a big tidy up operation tonight, I think. But that just means we did good stamping, so I don't mind so much, if I'm honest. I won't be tidying up tonight. I should be doing my tidying at another time. So let me just quickly check your comments. Go. All right, so now for our next card. So last week we made this card using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss embossing folder and coordinating dies, and we created this aperture, and we had this heart was spare, so I'm going to use that tonight, and we're going to use this die here. Okay, so we're going to make a gatefold card. So let's grab my bits. So I've got a Flirty Flamingo base, and then I've got a piece of, this is from the Pattern Party and Designer Series paper. This is a host only, so it's only when your order goes above a certain amount you can purchase this with your host credits. And I have also die cut, got these tiny little flowers and leaves, so I've just die cut some of those from the Bouquet of Love dies. Okay, and I'm going to use the sentiment or the label from there as well, but we'll do that later. So in terms of how I make my gatefolds, so measurements on gatefolds can be tricky, so I cheat. So normally my card base, this size, is 21 centimeters across. But that's really difficult for me to divide for a gatefold card. So what I do is, like I said, I cheat and I just make it 20 centimeters. And that means that I can score it easily at 5 centimeters. So you got 5, 10, and 5. So when you fold, so what happens when you're calculating a gatefold is these two pieces need to be the same as the bit in the middle so that they meet in the middle. But what I like to do with my gatefolds is I do one side with a good old score, like so. And Okay. And then, so as to make sure that they actually meet in the middle, instead of measuring it, what I do is I actually just fold my card so that the two bits meet in the middle, and then use my bone folder. So make sure the two ends meet up, and then just use your bone folder then to create that fold. Because sometimes what happens is, if your card is a little bit out or your scoring's a little bit out, then your gatefold doesn't meet in the middle. Okay, so there we go. So now we have our nice gatefold. Alright, so now we're going to do a bit of cutting. So we could leave it like that, but I'm going to make it fancy. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to basically die cut the edges like that and like that. So bear with me a minute. I'm going to go over to my big shot and do that. So bear with, be right back. Being careful to make sure that I line it up as straight as I can. So here we go. So when I first looked at this, I thought, I'm guessing that this is designed to cut inserts for your envelopes, but I don't tend to decorate my envelopes, so I'm going to use it for this instead. Now, because I've die cut it, my flaps don't meet, okay, but I'm going to put my heart in the center like so. And then I've die cut this paper to basically go on the inside like this. I'm going to trim it in a minute so that it actually shows through. So I'm going to trim this down to 10 centimeters. Okay. And we've got our heart like so, and then I've got my sentiment, which was from this one, and I think I was going to do lots of love. So this is celebrating you. Lots of love. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that in Poppy Parade. Let's grab my Poppy Parade ink pad. Oh, you can tell I don't use Poppy Parade very much. It's a little bit, the ink pad is a little bit stiff, so I'm just going to stamp that. There we go. And we're just going to quickly die cut this. So now we have our label. So I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this on the inside. So what I've done is I've just picked out the colours in this paper. So we've got Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, Poppy Parade and Granny Apple Green. We've got Daffodil Delight, Pool Party and Pacific Point in there as well. But I've picked out some Granny Apple Green for our leaves, and then we've got some Mango Melody and some Poppy Parade leaves, okay, to decorate. So I'm just going to leave those there for 1 second. But for now, I'm just going to adhere our heart, okay. So what we need to do is we just need to attach our heart to one side. So I'm going to pop it up on this side. Okay, so I'm going to use, I'm just leaving it like that so I can kind of see what I've got to play with. So I want a big dimensional, and don't want two, I want one there. Okay, yeah, in fact I will put one just there. So close our card, place our heart like so, and then for our lots of love, I'm going to place it yeah, I'm just going to place it. Yeah, I'm going to put it on. Sorry, I'm debating now, because if I put it like that, yeah, it might be tricky when we open it, so I have to attach it that way. So yeah, we'll do it like that. Sorry, I'm just thinking aloud. You know how it goes. There we go. So, because I've run this through the die cutting machine and I've put some paper on the inside, I'm just re-scoring the score lines so we can get them to sit nicely, and then we're just going to add some flowers. Okay, that should do the trick. Oh. And grab my glue dots. Oh! Didn't you see that? I've just thrown my carefully arranged flowers onto the floor. Dear, oh dear. Okay. Right, what time are we at? So it is 5 to 9. I have one more card for you, ladies. So do you have time to stick around for one more? Let me know while I finish this one off. This one on here. There we go. And then this needs a bit of sparkle, so just 1 second. Going to use my champagne rhinestones. Oh, I need my glasses to read your comments. Lynn says, of course she has time. Excellent. Right, so let's finish this one off. So even if it's just you and me, Lynn, we can do it. There's my paper pick tool. It's under here somewhere. Had it just now. Have I put it away? Yes, I have. Put it away, but I've put it in upside down to how I normally would. So I'm just using the small rhinestones. There we go. And I think we'll add some Wink of Stella to our flowers as well. Just because, why not? So there we have it. So using, Sue says yes, Diane says yes, fantastic, we'll keep going. So using what I think is supposed to be for doing your envelopes to make a nice border for a gatefold card. There we go. Okay, so that's card number 3. Right, so one more. That's the wrong one. Like I said, I am just desperately trying and failing actually to try and keep myself organized while we go through here. I think it's been a long time since I've used quite so many different things in a single live. So my pile is getting really quite big. So bear with me. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a job for me tomorrow because I will not have time to do this tonight. I should be going downstairs and having a cup of tea as soon as I'm done with this. Okay, so I'll pop that away. Put these over here. So for our last card, I'm going to use the For the Record stamp set. Okay. I'm going to need my embossing buddy and my Versamark, and I'm going to use some black embossing powder. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this die here. The top looks a bit like a lady's cardigan die. It does. So you're right. You know what? You could do a great gatefold where you just put some buttons on there and maybe some pearls or something. That would look good, wouldn't it? Ooh, got me thinking now. That's why I love doing crafting in person, because we think of stuff together and we inspire each other. Right. So what we're going to do here is a bit of a double fold. So we've got a piece of mint macaron, I think this is, card base. I'm just going to go and fold it. So that's our usual size. And then I've cut, this is also from that Pattern Party paper. That's the word I'm looking for. So I've cut this to 14.5 by 13. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just die cut one edge like this with this point. Okay. So I'll be right back. Just bear with me. Okay, so now what we have is I've die cut it slightly off. You see it's not centered. If you look at it that way, you can see this one's slightly longer than that one. And I've only done that just because it looks a bit more interesting that way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work out where I want this, how far across my card front I want this to come. And I'm going to use my For the Record sentiment. So if I do that, okay, so just want to make sure that I have enough paper to stamp my sentiment. Okay. Okay, just going to open my card up. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold it over. Okay. So what we're going to have is this will open and then that will open. Okay. But what we'll do, so I haven't done any measurements on this because, as I say, I wanted to measure it on my card, so to speak. So now that I know it's where I want it to be, now I will score it. Okay. There you go, and then this will be glued to the inside. So this is the front of my card, and this is going on the inside, like so. Okay. And then we've got a little bit hanging out the edge there, so I'm just going to trim that off. Make sure that's nice and straight. Okay. And open it. Got a bit of glue there. So now we have our inside piece, which will go over that. So our card is a double flap, like so. Okay. Now when you do these like that, sometimes what I like to do is I've cut it to the main size, but I'm just going to trim just a sliver from the front. Okay. And that just helps it close nicely. Okay. Alright. So now, somewhere, I should have a strip, but I can get another one from my scraps. I think that will be too skinny. It will. Should do the trick. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to actually emboss this. Okay, and I'm also going to, so I'll put these to one side and do some embossing. I'm also going to do this record and emboss that too. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the record onto red cardstock using a Versamark. Okay, so we're going to ink this up. Again, because it's a big stamp, I bring my ink pad to the stamp rather than putting the stamp to the ink pad. Okay. So, and then I'm also going to stamp for the record onto my strip. There. Now, did you spot the mistake I made there? I didn't prepare this piece with my embossing buddy, so let's see how we go. Okay, so now I've got some black embossing powder. I'm just going to pop that all over, and the same here. Okay, so let's see how this one did. Oh, it wasn't too bad, but can you see we've got some bits there? That's because I didn't do my preparation correctly, so I'm just going to okay, and I actually want a little bit more. That's it. You can see the difficulty it causes when you don't do your prep correctly. So just leave that for 1 second. Whereas here you can see this heart. Oh, that was a bit silly of me. I brushed it off again. So you can see where I've prepped my paper properly, I don't have that problem. So let me just pop my embossing powder back in its tub. There we go, and then so this was one of my top picks from the new Spring Summer catalogue, this stamp set. I think it's great. I love this big vinyl. lost on youngsters, I think, but people of a certain age who remember vinyl and LPs, I think they'll love this. Got a real retro feel to it. And again, great for masculine cards. There we go. I'm going to use my take your pick tool for some of these bits. Okay, and then I'm just going to die cut this out using one of my circle dies. So I'll be right back. Okay. Here we go. And we've got our piece here. I'm going to take my Thick Banner punch and to the end. So I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller. Okay, so then I'm going to take my record and I'm going to use my Versamark. Because I just want to create a very light portion. Put it there. Not that one. Okay, and then this I'm just going to glue down on the inside. Okay, and then we've got You're Awesome. You're Awesome. And I'm going to do that in black. I'm going to use my Memento because I need to re-ink my Stays On ink pad. So we'll make do with black for the moment. There we go. And that will stick down. And then I'm going to do Happy Birthday. on our white piece. Go, and then I think I'm going to take some mint macaron. And see, we're using nearly every stamp in this set. Okay, and at the bottom. One's at the top. There we go. Close up the ink pads. Now this gets glued in here, so then you don't see the flap. Okay. Close this piece over, and then this piece over, and you can see we've got a little bit sticking out there, so I'm just going to trim that. There we go. Alrighty, so then we have our for the record. I'm going to pop that up. But before I glue that down, I'm going to add some of our twine. Don't know where it's gone. So that. Some red stars here. And then inside we'll put a black enamel dot, like so. So there we go. We're using it to create a flap, double flap card. I've got some glue on there. Okay, so now, that wasn't too bad, but now it's your turn. So I'm going to clear some space, which basically just means shoving everything over to one side, and bring back in our cards. So it's time for you to vote. Is it card number 1, 2, 3, or 4? There we go. So as I say, just to remind you that I will be running a online virtual class for the for Rainbows and Happiness on the 24th of February. So that's a live Zoom class. You can order the materials, all the bits and pieces to be sent to you so you can craft along. And it also includes a video tutorial that you can watch whenever you like, especially if you can't make the class. And if you purchase the Rainbow of Happiness bundle, you get the class for free, the online class version only for free, and you get a discount on the project pack. So I'll post a link to that. After this post. So I'm just putting my glasses on to see what we've got. So Sue says 4, 2, 1, 3. Lynn says 3, 2, 4, 1. I think we're going to have a bit of a mixed bag. Diane says 4, 2, 3, 1. 3, 2, 4, 1. So there you go. There are our cards for this week. It's been lovely crafting with you. I hope you enjoyed them, and it gives you some ideas on how to use your border dies. As I say, the one we used tonight was our basic borders, which is missing one. But as I say, lots of your die sets will have borders in them, so dig them out and see what you can do with them. Doreen, Mary, thank you very much. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.